Hey there, Prepper peeps. It's Jeff from Indiana Preparedness. Another little quick video for you. Discussing some topics I wanted to go over. My dogs are out here in the backyard trying something a little bit new, selfie stick and all that good stuff. And yeah, somebody's extremely curious about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So might have to deal with some animals that are really getting super intrusive right now. Most of the time they don't pay me too much mind, but anyway, quick video on some topics I wanted to discuss and kind of get people's thoughts and opinions on, and maybe get other people thinking about them. So there are a lot of agreements and disagreements in the preparedness community on things that I think are unnecessary. And one of the mantras of preparedness is adaptability and adapting in your preparedness. And I think that sometimes we get a little bit too dogmatic in some of our approaches to preparedness. And some of these are just kind of silly, that I think that we need to review and, for lack of a better way of putting it, get over it, right? So one of those things, so here's a prime example. Bugging in versus bugging out, right? You always get the people go, well, I'm never going to bug out. I'm not going to bug out. I got all my stuff in my home, right? And then there's other people that's like, well, you know, the only option that I have in any situation is to bug out. I'm going to bug out. I have a good location. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of Dodge. Okay, so here's the thing. There's no wrong answer there as when it comes to your preparedness plan. The only wrong answer is limiting your options and then not following up on them. In other words, you really want to have both, right? You want to have a bug-in plan and you want to have a bug-out plan. There are merits to both. And you know, the fact of the matter is here in Indiana, you know, my home is secure against a lot of the weather events that we prepare against, and that's fantastic. But there are times when something just too big is coming down the pipe and we need to get out of here. And so having a bug out plan is something that's necessary. And you know, if in this age where, you know, fires are becoming more and more prominent and things like this, if a fire comes at your home, you're going to have to get out of there. So it's really a case where you want to be prepared for both contingencies. And to be a thorough prepper, right, you have to have both. And so I'm going to take the middle road and I'm going to piss everybody off. You got to have both. If you don't have both, a bug in and a bug out plan, you are not a sufficient prepper. I'm going to go that far. I welcome your emails and your comments. But you really can't argue about not having both. So just get over it. Don't criticize one another over who's a bugging in or a bugging out guy. Just have both, right? You need both. Another one is lone wolf versus the community preparedness plan. Lone wolf versus community. And this one you hear a lot all the time. I will sit here and say that a strict lone wolf strategy during a disruptive event is not a good thing. But there are times when all of us as preppers might find ourselves in a lone wolf situation. Now, what do I mean by that? Imagine if you're traveling, right? If you travel or if you're at work and a disruptive event happens. Anything from, you know, social to weather related happens, and you have to get back to your shelter. You have to get back to your family and your friends and the people that you care about, and you're on your own. At that point in time, you're looking at a lone wolf situation, right? You're looking at a situation where you've got maybe your get home bag, and you're surrounded by strangers. You're surrounded by people who are affected by this event that you don't really trust, and you know, you just need to get home, and you need to get back to someplace that's safe. And so you may not have thought that you would ever go lone wolf ever, but you find yourself doing lone wolf. But again, a lone wolf strategy for a preparedness plan is not a viable, and it's not sustainable as an option, as a sole option. So you have to plan to work with your friends and your family and probably local members of your community. If the disruptive event is local to your home and your workplace, and or if it takes out your house and things like this, where are you going to go? You need a support structure. You need to have that mutual assistance group, and that's important too. But so again, both strategies. If you don't have both strategies in play, you have a vulnerability. And I know when it comes to the arrogance of a lot of people out there, and a lot of people are very experienced in preparedness, I get it. So that's going to just strike a nerve with them. And that's okay. This is what I want to happen. I want conversation. I want to strike a nerve. Well, I'll never have to be part of a community. Bull crap. It's bull crap. Anybody who's ever been in a real disaster scenario will tell you, especially sustainability, right? It really comes down to sustainability when you're talking lone wolf versus community. Lone wolves, you're not going to be able to sustain yourself. It's a great temporary process. It's a great temporary solution in a lot of different circumstances, but it is not something that you want to put all of your eggs in that basket. It's just not going to work. So the next thing is just the differences in scope. I see a lot of arguments about this. I myself, I only prepare for, maybe an outage that's going to last anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks. That's it. A lot of people scoff at that, okay? And a lot of people sit here and say that is dramatically insufficient when it comes to how much food and water that you need on hand and how many people you're going to prepare for. 2 weeks is just not sufficient. For what I'm preparing for, it is, right? I don't fault people who sit here and prepare for, nuclear apocalypse, and they got the bunker with 25 years worth of food and water and medical supplies and all that. I don't fault them. That's great. I think that's, fantastic. Honestly, if I'd have won that $1.26 billion or however much it was in the lottery last weekend, I'd have myself, a 25-year plan too, just because I could. But realistically, I don't think that I don't feel the need to prepare that far out. 1 full month is what I'm actually going for, and in the end, I might expand that even further. But I don't argue with people who prepare farther out. And those that come at me and say that my plan is insufficient, my response is this. So then let's also talk about discussing prepping versus being secluded. In case you missed it there. My response to I don't prepare for long enough, I just don't engage. Don't engage. So let's go to my next point. There's a lot of talk about whether or not you reveal to other people that you are a prepper, that you have food, water, medical supplies on hand in case there's a major disruptive event. How many people would have told other people that they have a crap ton of toilet paper? Back when COVID hit. Not a lot of people would have done it. And it's a security operations question. Do you tell people? Because you always get the inevitable, well, if anything happens, I'm just going to come to your house. Yeah. Anyway, but on the other hand, the flip side of that, the bonus of telling other people is that you might encourage them to go out and prepare, right? They may get to the point where they're like, yeah, okay, instead of going to his house, maybe I better have my own stuff. So, that's when you weigh that balance, and other people into preparedness will criticize when preppers go out into the community and try to educate folks, right? And I think that's a bad idea to a degree. I think that you have merits in, again, both sides of view. So the my dog's decided to, I'm gonna go ahead and just move the camera a little bit. So, going out and telling other people in your community to prepare and what you're preparing for, and recognizing threats and all that other good stuff, that has to do with, if that happens, you don't need to worry about them coming to your door because they already got their own stuff, right? You don't need to worry about them. And if you just, if you're frankly a decent human being and you don't want to see people suffer, or you don't want to see people, have to wait around for the Red Cross or the FEMA camps to get started before they can have some sort of relief, that's a good thing. You educate them so that they don't have to do that. That's a great thing. But at the same time, you don't want to reveal your entire hand, right? You don't want to show them where you got your stuff, how much you've got, what you have, right? Because people will come for it. Absolutely, they will come for it. There's no, I'm not arguing that at all. There's no doubt about that. So, your security operations does have to be solid. You don't want to tell them everything, but at the same time, you want to encourage people in your community, your neighbors, your friends that live around you, to prepare for outages and disruptive events on their own. And then you don't need to worry about them knocking on your door. So these are just a couple. They're 4 things that I see a lot of arguing, or my dog's very interested. What are you doing? I see a lot of arguing and sort of slinging hash in the preparedness community when it comes to these 4 things. And all I've got to say is why are we limiting, if you're so much into preparedness, right? If you are so much, and this is to the people that do this, right, who argue and criticize and put other people down, if you're so into preparedness, why are you limiting your options? What's the difference if somebody has both a bug in and a bug out plan, or if they don't plan for quite as long as you do? People who plan for 2 weeks may have a better water purification solution than what somebody who prepares for 25 years has. And if they sit there and talk back and forth and they share ideas, and that long-term prepper goes, oh crap, yeah, he only has a water solution plan for 2 weeks, but that plan is superior to mine. His purification method is better than mine. Imagine that. Get better ideas and share those ideas. But why limit your solutions? Don't limit your solutions. I mean, I understand there's a cost factor, right? If I've spent all of my money on a $400 bug out bag, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting here saying, oh yeah, you also want to have some extra food and water, medical supplies, communications and all that other stuff for your home, now I got to pay for that. Well, over time, yeah, but everybody who's into preparedness knows that you have to financially budget, right? You have to be smart about that kind of stuff. So, final thoughts are, don't limit and don't criticize somebody else for having a different preparedness plan than yours. Yeah, they could have gaping holes in it for now, and you might say, hey, you know what, maybe you need a little bit more food for your plan. Maybe you need to, if you're planning for this, maybe you need a little bit more food there. Maybe they do have holes in their plan, and you can offer some suggestions. But don't be overly critical, because as I've said several times, we are in this together. If a disruptive event happens to your local community in your region, or your state, or God forbid the entire country, guess what? We're all wanting to survive, right? We all want to make it through it and then thrive and recover afterwards. So don't be overly critical. Instead, be encouraging, I say. Don't limit your options, and help others whatever their plan may be. Be open-minded to it and be accepting of it. So I'll finish on those words. Everybody have a good day and stay safe. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you like what I'm doing here, please be sure to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that good old-fashioned notification bell too. Thank you.